I want to talk about Washington this week, specifically about the bills they passed in accordance with AI dominance and cryptocurrency dominance. I want to go over what this means for companies like ours, Turn, in the AI race, and also what's going on with cryptocurrency and why it's different from traditional financial institutions. Uh, from a place that most people aren't talking about, but I believe Ray Dalio would have a very strong opinion on this area. So the bills that have passed, one of them was called the Genius Act, which mostly has to do with cryptocurrency. But regardless, America is in a great spot for the development and innovation of AI and a great spot for the adoption of the use of cryptocurrency. Although I have concerns for both. One is I feel that the strength of our computers are increasing, and with companies like Turn, who are turning away from bits, that really hurts the foundation for the monster coins like Bitcoin. The upside is that cryptocurrency becomes more robust, meaning the cryptography and the algorithms that protect the blockchain itself and how the hashes are created, etc., are much stronger. And that's due to this three-state logic that we're implementing. Aside from that, there is also just an increase in speed that we're seeing in bandwidth with photonic computing implementation and quantum computers in general. This means that the security features of cryptocurrencies are going to be challenged more and more. And I do have a slight fear that within the next decade, technology may surpass the current state of security of cryptocurrency and may topple it. So unless it has a transition plan to become more robust and remain resilient in its security adaptation, there's going to be an issue there. So there's got to be some kind of fix there. My worry with the AI initiatives is that we're going to support the Goliaths more and more. And my concern is that we're going to continue to support the conventional way of growing the AI, the conventional way of scaling the AI revolution and these AI data centers by just adding more GPUs and more chips into the mix rather than actually innovating it and creating much better chips, not incremental. Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, was just speaking about how they're all about incremental improvements, and that they're incremental improvements, they deliver the chip, and then when the chip is delivered, software stacks are optimized, which make the chip better while it is being sold, which is great, but these are incremental improvements of something that's already inefficient. It's like saying that you sold a car early without putting all the air in the tires, and then as the customers filled the air with tires, their car performance improved. That's not exactly a step in the right direction. It's kind of selling it too soon. So the market is keeping up still. Barely. It is barely keeping up. And it's only a matter of time that we sell cars without any tires and we actually end up busting the system and we're not able to use these newer chips. They're just not ready for us. So it's going to take longer and longer to implement these incremental changes. That's not good. These are stopgap measures. And so the concern there is that we're just going to have AI factories, AI data centers that go from hundreds of thousands of GPUs to millions of GPUs, and we're just going to have a very wasteful, bloated environment where a lot of CapEx is being put into physical hardware that is massively inefficient, when we do have ways at Turn of decreasing the energy consumption by 100x. And when you talk about software improvements, who knows? We could be up to 500x, 1000x. I have no idea. All I know is that it's a good jump in the right direction, not an incremental little step. And it gives us a lot of room to work with. So we have a lot of runway ahead of us, and it's just a necessary, inevitable evolution of the technology that we're going to have to meet at some point. And right now, the issues with energy consumption demand with AI is very apparent, and so we should act now. But for right now, there's 3 types of money that you can see by the chart on the screen. This chart was made by Ray Dalio, and it talks about how you have type 1, type 2, and type 3. And to put it more simply, type 1 is essentially physical storage of wealth, right? This is gold, this is silver, these are rare metals in the early days. Then you have type 2, which is claims on hard money. It's essentially banknotes, right? Dollar bills and currency that you exchange in person at the store every day. The risk increases with each incremental type increase. So for type 3, it's essentially credit. Now we are leveraging off of the banknotes, which is where a lot of inflation comes from, because we're able to increase the amount so much that the storage of wealth, the physical storage of wealth that it's based on, isn't able to keep up. And so what people do is they will sell all of their banknotes to get their physical assets, and that decreases the physical storages of wealth even more, and that causes for a currency to collapse as a reserve currency. So type 1 is the physical storage of wealth. It's the safest way to hold assets. Type 2 is the claim on that storage of physical wealth, and type 3 is a credit or hedge on the claim on the physical storage of wealth. Now, this has always been the case ever since currency first came to fruition centuries ago. But what's happening with cryptocurrency is that it seems they have essentially, they're still credit, so they're still type 3, but it seems that type 1 and type 2 have combined into a single form of money. And this is because the digital currency itself is the digital storage of wealth, which is more or less physical if you consider the transistors and the memory storage as storing this wealth. So you consider the electrons as the physical storage in a particular arrangement, whereas before we were considering the particular arrangement of atoms as the physical storage, more or less. So the digital currency is itself representing a physical storage of wealth, and it is also the claims on the hard money. So it is the actual it's the thing that moves around. There used to be silver and gold used to be formed into coins, and that was one unit of that denomination that was traded. A lot of that became heavier to use, so we started type 2 money, which was claims on hard money. But imagine that you were still able to use gold everywhere. You were still able to trade silver and copper everywhere. That's what is happening with digital currency. It has combined type 1 and type 2 so that there are only 2 types of money. There's the actual money that is represented physically, and there's credit on that. And that makes a much more transparent system, a much safer system, a much more stable system. And having stable coins on top of this is also really important. And I'm interested to see where Bitcoin shows up as far as if we're going to have a standard, if we're going to have some sort of gold standard that creates a baseline for all of these other currencies, or if stable coins are going to be the ones that do that, and if fiat currency is going to stay around at all. So it's definitely an interesting time to be in finance.